There's a reason that prescription drugs are intended to be taken under the direction of a doctor. If used improperly, they can be dangerous, even deadly. The problem of prescription drug abuse in Michigan is real, and it's growing.
Deaths from drug abuse has now outpaced traffic fatalities. The problem of prescription drug abuse is definitely very severe in northern Michigan. I've been told that our prescription drug-related visits have increased at Munson Medical Center by over 80%.
I started doing prescription drugs, Vicodin mainly. A guy in my class had broken his arm riding motocross, and I decided to ask him what kind of pills he was taking. And he said he was taking Vicodin, and it was the new thing back then. We weren't taught about Vicodins or opiates in school. At that time of age, we were taught in health class about cocaine and crack and stuff like that, and heroin and opiates and Vicodins were not talked about. So I decided that I wanted to try some of these, so I gave him $15 and he gave me his script. Well, as long as I wasn't doing cocaine or any other hard drugs like that, just prescription drugs, which is fine, I can get them from a doctor, I'll be fine. Just drink beer and take these Vicodins. And one of the reasons was that I justified the prescription use was because of family history of addiction, and it was all cocaine. Then the Vicodin wouldn't work anymore, so the next thing was the Oxycontin, and then taking the Oxycontin wouldn't do the trick anymore, so I crushed it up and snorted it.
I got involved with prescription drug abuse as a teenager. It started at parties where people had stolen prescriptions from grandparents, parents, anyone who had them laying around in the house. It usually started with the Vicodin, stuff like that, and then slowly after that Xanax and stuff started flying around the school, and we'd basically just take whatever was handed out. Pretty much me and my friends were just taking whatever it was, trusting that it would do something not dangerous, really not knowing what we were taking at all. From then it would lead into other things, harder drugs, Oxycontin, stuff like that, which was also readily available from people stealing prescriptions or people that knew people that were doctor shopping and had the other prescriptions laying around. And then from there, for me and quite a few people, it went on to heroin, because then that was cheaper. So it was a big prescription drug, led to a lot harder things for me. Heroin addiction for me led me down a very quick, slippery slope. I went from being someone that was a productive member of society to basically just someone that I never thought that I would be. At that point, when I gained consciousness, I realized that I was jobless, homeless, childless, hopeless, and I had absolutely hit bottom. I'd always thought that if I got as bad as what I considered a junkie, then I would be able to stop using. But by that point, there was no choice at that point. And it led me to being involved with DHS and Child Protective Services because of I wasn't able to take care of anything because of my heroin use, and my children were removed from me. People really need to understand that these prescriptions are not safe, and just because you put them on the top shelf of your medicine cabinet doesn't mean that your grandson or niece or nephew aren't going to come over and take them.
This is my daughter Ashley Rizzi. She was 26 years old when she died from a prescription drug overdose. She was a good kid. She just came up here and fell into the wrong crowd. She was getting the drugs from a family member that got her hooked right away. I tried everything to get her off. People don't realize how easy it is for the young kids today to get the prescription drugs. It's scary, and it doesn't just happen to the poor people. It doesn't happen to the less fortunate. It happens to everyone, no matter what your standard in life is. If you're rich, poor, or not, it couldn't happen to you, and it will take your loved ones from you.
Prescription drug abuse is a real problem in Michigan. but it can be prevented with your help. Only take prescription drugs as directed by your doctor. If a drug wasn't prescribed for you, don't take it. Monitor your prescription drugs, lock them in a secure place, and dispose of them properly.
In prevention, important ingredient in prevention is locking the prescription medication up, all prescription medication up, not just the narcotics, but keeping it under lock and key is real important.
The way I can see that prescription drug abuse ending is that if people are not using the prescriptions, that they do dispose of them, or if they understand the severity of the drug abuse that can be associated with the prescription, that they lock them up so that people can't get them.
The things you can do to prevent your kids from doing this is lock the prescriptions up in a gun safe, a lockbox, a safe, anything you have at home. Just lock them up. Don't leave them readily available.
Lock them up. Lock everything up. Everything that's narcotic, lock it up, because they will get stolen.
Don't be a part of the problem. Be the solution.